Okay. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the August 2024 Board of Selectmen meeting. In the event of an emergency, all of you are aware of the locations, but this doorway here leads to the rear parking lot. Up that stairway, down the hallway out the back would lead to the parking lot by the firehouse, and up the stairs behind the wall with a clock on it through the double doors would put you out to the front of the town hall. Okay. With that said, if we could stand for the pledge. If you can't, that's okay.
Want it up, Ron?
Well, all right. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. And I may take this chair upstairs. I like this chair. Doesn't sink. Okay, we'll start on my left tonight.
Ralph?
Hit the button there, Johnny.
Good evening, Ralph Okenquist.
Good evening, John Carangelo.
Good evening, Mitch Goldblatt.
Good evening, PJ Shanley.
Good evening, Judy Williams.
And Denny, Secretary to the Board.
Very good, and you all know who I am. Public participation. Public participation is for any item that is not an agenda item. We allow up to 2 minutes per speaker. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak on public participation items? See, you do? No, you're on the agenda. Yeah. Okay. All I have to say is we want to thank all the volunteers and fire department members and all that made this year's Fireman's Carnival a success. However, Mother Nature was not kind and was a bit of a challenge to the fire department. So anybody who feels so inclined, the fire department is open to tax-deductible donations. We also had a great ceremony that Ann worked with the Secretary of State's office, the Lieutenant Governor and all, honoring Korean and Vietnam War veterans. We tried to identify as many as we could through assessors' records and town clerks' records and at postings, advertisings and all, and it worked out terrific. And there is a way to see those, some of those pictures. Town offices and the transfer station, Mitchell, will be closed on September 2nd in observance of Labor Day. All towns, so that includes the transfer station, will be closed on September 2nd for Labor Day. We heard today that we have heard, and has not been 100% verified yet, but Frank Rogers, another one of our town pieces of fabric, passed away this week. Frank was very well known in the community born and raised here for 90 years or so, and our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. That's what I have for all of that. Minutes to consider it. Oh, well, you usually put your hand up before.
I'll let you go first. Just real quick, the people have been asking, the next shredding day is October 26th. High Plains, and we'll have all the usual suspects will be there. The mattresses and the Buy Nothing Orange and the community women will be there. We'll be accepting electronics again, as well as the shredding. We thank the Rotary Club and the Lions Club for their help and participation. October 26th. It will not be hazardous waste. The hazardous waste will only be in the spring. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Minutes, to consider and act on the minutes of the July 10th regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen. Are there any errors, omissions, or corrections? If so, state page and paragraph. If not, is there a motion to accept? Your call. Motion is made and seconded. Any other discussion? Seeing none for us. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? One abstention? Okay. New business, to consider and act on bid recommendations for the $100,000 Senior Center ARPA Grants project. Bob Britton is in the audience. These are the cafeteria and senior lounge painting, cafeteria flooring removal and asbestos abatement, which they use. That building was built in 1955, so that happens. New commercial dishwasher and a kitchen heat pump. Mr. Britton, do you want to come up here in case there are are there any questions for Mr. Britton? Or is it kind of self-explanatory? This is government money. We got this grant. It was supposed to go for air conditioning for the senior lounge and stuff, but by the time the State Department that was in charge of handling this, they told us they would tell us what was acceptable, and we had to submit ideas, and by the time that got done, we did the air conditioning, and so now these are new projects that we're getting done instead. So,
I think Bob did a great job. I really think, obviously, he definitely reached out. He's got enough bids coming in.
Yep.
And his explanations were very clear. So I think it's well done.
any other thoughts on it? If not, is there a motion to accept as presented?
So moved.
Motion is made. Is there a second on that?
Second with a quick question.
Yes.
Bob, going through this quickly, were all of these bidders that you're accepting here low bidders?
No.
And if not, can you explain when they're
Sure.
Yeah.
The first one would be the flooring. Two bidders installing the new flooring. We were initially assuming we were going to use the VCT or the 12-inch by 12-inch tiles, and everyone we talked to said, oh, you should maybe consider this LVT tile.
Yep.
And we said, well, we'll get prices and do it both ways. So AAI, they only submitted a bid on VCT, not with installing wax, which you have to install wax.
Yep.
John Boyle gave us you have to combine the two prices to get the real price of installing VCT, the $14,983. So it actually ended up cheaper to do the LVT, which is not a wax floor, it's a lower maintenance. And that's what the senior center prefers anyway, that material. You can get them in squares, but typically they come more planked.
It's in a
on the
length,
side.
it's on a long length,
Yep.
more modern look.
So that one, I mean, it is the low bid, but it needs an explanation. And then the only other one was the asbestos abatement and floor removal contractor. The lowest bid was called Multi-Serve United Vets. They've only been in business for a year or two, I think, and they had only submitted some very small projects. I mean, 2 little bathrooms that they cut the floor out of. The next low bidder had more projects that were similar to scope in ours, so it was just a concern that maybe the low price, being about a third of our estimate, was a little too good to be true.
Yeah.
They might be fine. I don't know anything
No,
bad
but
about them.
generally you don't take, if they seem extreme off, you don't accept that. You know, there might be something there.
So Bob, all this is going to involve the cafeteria and the
Senior
senior lounge and the kitchen. Is there a time frame that we expect those areas of the building to be inaccessible? And do we know when?
Yeah, once these are awarded and notified, we'll get schedules, but sometime, probably within the next 2 weeks, they'll do, like they did before with the air conditioning. The senior lunch program will be down in the south wing, and it's, they can cater it. I thought it was gonna be like a cold lunch. They
Oh.
have the hot lunch delivered.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they can be down there for, it's going to be a number of weeks. I know the air conditioning was going to be 1 to 2 weeks. I think it was more like 4.
The kitchen is still usable to prep. The dishwasher system will be down, so they might have to wash
Shortly,
dishes by
yeah.
hand for a very short period of time. God, heaven forbid they wash dishes by hand.
Yeah.
We still do.
I think they're mostly using disposable stuff.
Yeah, I
from
think
all.
they do now. Just make sure it's not.
So I don't know the
tied up
exact
before the
length,
fair.
but it'll be at least 3-4 weeks, I'm guessing.
Okay. But we do expect it to begin fairly shortly after tonight's meeting if we approve tonight?
Yeah, and it'll be coordinated with the senior center to
Very
make
good.
sure there's.
Thank you.
You know, and this was, I believe, Representative Wieslander obtained this 100,000. Not all towns got it. There's also another 45,000 that we haven't gotten approval to go ahead with yet, but that's.
That was a different grant.
That was
But it's also ARPA for
Yeah,
senior center.
but, yeah.
excellent.
More things. Any other
Okay.
questions? Thanks.
Motion was made, I think. All right. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Unanimous. Consider an act on contract with BFJ Planning for the 2025 Plan of Conservation and Development, which is the 10-year requirement for zoning. Mr. Demerjian is in here. He also provided you with a document on that. Questions for Jack? And a short explanation from Jack? Not as long as all the paper you trees you killed?
I promise I'll do my best to keep it short if anyone does have any questions. Yeah, my board doesn't like double-sided, so I do the single. So just a short overview. I know First Selectman Zioli mentioned this, but every 10 years, every municipality in Connecticut has to revisit their plan of conservation and development. Ours was last approved in 2015, so as we go into 2025, we're starting to hit the ground running on this. Takes about 12 months to 18 months based on what our consultant informed us of. And basically, earlier this year, we released a request for proposal. We got 3 applicants submitting bids. After the Town Plan and Zoning Board interviewed each applicant, we settled with, not settled, but we went with BFJ Planning, who was by a little bit the lowest bid, but also, in our opinion, seemed to have the most experience revising these types of documents in the state of Connecticut, based out of the 3 that we got. So it's fairly, self-explanatory. We're here tonight just for the contract approval. They want to hit the ground running. They want to start touring town. They want to start interviewing other commissions here in town, town officials, residents, things like that. So they're definitely trying to get going here. If anyone has any questions for me, I'm more than available.
And the funding for this?
Yes, $100,000 is what the bid was approved at. If for any reason in the future we need additional services, or, we have the need for a larger budget, I would go and sit in front of the finance board and get that approved.
So my question was, I guess, was this approved by the Board of Finance? that
It
amount of
was,
money?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's in the budget? Yes, it is. I'm getting the nod. Yes, it is. Okay. Questions for Jack? Yes, Mitch?
Jack, very, very good proposal. 2 quick questions. One is, can you tell us who the other bidders were?
It was H&H Hardesty in Hanover and Collier's Engineering and Design.
Okay, and who did our last plan of development?
It was Glenn Chalder. I believe
Right.
he was with Planometrics at the time.
He didn't bid?
He did not bid. We actually had him in.
He advised.
He did. We had him in probably 2 months before we started this process, just because he's the guru when it
Right.
comes to this sort of thing. And, this is my first time going through
That's
it.
why I was a little surprised. Okay.
Right, but he kind of let us know that he's sort of picking and choosing what he wants to be involved in. So unfortunately, he didn't give us a bid this time, but we got 3 qualified applicants.
Very good, thank you.
Okay. Motion made on that?
So moved.
Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Unanimous.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Jack.
Okay, Jack. Jack, you sat on the wrong side of the room to do the Irish fade. You have to sit over there on that side, and you just.
I'll get there.
No, we discussed it earlier today.
All right, all right.
To consider, item number 3 is to consider and act on the request from the Orange Lions Club to waive the facility fee for the use of High Plains Community Center if needed due to inclement weather for their, that's comedy night, right? Is this Saturday? Is one request, and I'm going to read number 4 at the same time, because then when Mr. Muddick comes up here, then they'll both be there. Item 4 is to consider and act on the request from the Lions Club to waive the customary rental and custodial fees for their annual Thanksgiving dinner, which this year is scheduled for Sunday, December 1st, because Thanksgiving is on the 28th this year of November. Last year, we had a big gap in between. This year, it's exactly the opposite, you know? And actually, we were looking up to find out when meetings and stuff were falling, and Hanukkah starts on Christmas this year, on December 25th, and goes into January. Yeah, I mean, the whole world is amok, but, okay, Mr. Muddit, would you like to come up and pitch for the Lions?
The Lions would really like to thank the town of Orange for allowing us to do this every year. This will be our 36th Thanksgiving dinner, and I really believe this is just one of the hundreds of items that make the town of Orange a wonderful place
Agreed.
to live. So I would be happy to answer any questions, but it'll be very, very similar to exactly the same thing we've done in the past, if you're not familiar.
Any questions for Mike on, it looks like the weather's going to be clear Saturday night. There's fore and aft, but Saturday looks good for the
Yeah.
comedy night out under the pavilion. If it's not, we agree to allow that will be item 1, is to make the motion to allow them to have indoor use with fees waived if needed. And then the second one, item 4, will be the second, which is to waive the fees for the Thanksgiving dinner on December 1st. With that said, is there a motion for item 3?
Sure. Motion to approve. No, that was good. You got it.
Okay, any questions on that? That's for the comedy night. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Unanimous. Item number 4 is to consider an act on the request to waive the fees for the annual Thanksgiving dinner scheduled for December 1st at the community center. Is there a motion on that? So moved. Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
You want to give just a quick brief, what does the Lions Club do? I know
Okay,
what you
well,
give
the-
to, but
the
tell
Li-
the
the
public,
Lions-
you pitch it to the public out
The,
there.
the Lions Club, it's one of its great focuses, vision. And one of the things we love to do in this town is we actually test all the school children of the town of Orange and their vision every year. We have a camera which takes a picture of their eyes and with a computer says there may be a problem here. We don't do any diagnosis, we don't do any remedial care, but we've identified, it comes up almost 10% of young children should see a doctor to have their eyes checked. And if the sooner you get a child eyes checked, the more likely it can be corrected and not be an adult problem. But then we're so interested. We have a scholarship, and we're giving food to the food bank. And so the Lions Club motto is we serve, and that's exactly what we try to do for the town of Orange. And I think we do a great job. And like I said in the beginning, it's one of the hundreds of things that makes the town of Orange, between the schools and the fire department and everything else, the sports, everything that goes on in this town. It's a wonderful place to live. We're just a little piece of that, and we love being
Piece
that.
of the fabric.
Right.
Okay.
So thank you.
Very nice, thank you.
All right.
Excellent.
Item number 5, and put together, consider and act on the request to approve the Board of Selectmen's report for the annual report.
Nice job, Ian.
Who has read it, and Mitchell's finger is on the button, he
Yeah,
has to
guys,
speak to it,
I'll
so
make,
go
I'll make
ahead.
a motion to approve with one quick or small change. I meant to call you, Ann, I'm sorry. In the very first line of that second paragraph, I think we should spell out Fred Wolf Park, where it says FWP, and ad hoc, I don't believe is all caps. I think it's like capital A and capital H. I'm not sure exactly. AD, separate
look
word,
into it.
HOC. But other than that, it's great. Thank you very much, and I'll make a motion to approve with those small corrections.
Okay?
We look busy.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain. Unanimous. Item 6, to consider an act on the 5-year contract with Digital Ally for the Police Department upgraded body camera system. This was started as a state grant program. There is one other vendor that provides this, but Orange stayed with Digital Ally with the state grant program, and now it's time to renew it. And the chief feels very strongly to stick with the company that they've been with. All of our body camera data and all is all stored on site at the PD on a whole separate server and all that is set up by Digital Ally just for this. It's not in the cloud, it's not off-site. It's accessible for our department at any time when needed. And so Bob felt very confident in sticking with the company we've had as opposed to going to the other one, which some other departments have and has proven to be more costly.
Really.
So that's why it is. So it's kind of a limited availability item for pricing. But that was his reason for that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay?
Quick question, Jim.
Yes,
I'm
Mr.
sorry, the money for this was coming from where?
Police Department.
From their budget?
It's in their budget. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so it's a new 5-year contract for a total over 5 years of $160,460.00. Okay, with that motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Unanimous. Pension Board.
We meet tomorrow night. For anybody who's interested, there's two interesting things on the agenda, I think. One is the fact that we're going to consider allowing town employees to not only go into the voluntary 457 plan they already have, but also have a Roth option will be discussed for that. The second thing is it's our annual actuarial valuation report coming from Milliman tomorrow, so we'll have more information about what next year's budget, John, will entail, and how we're doing as far as our funding and everything else for how we've done for the past year. That's tomorrow evening.
Okay. Fred Wolf Park ad hoc, I think we're at a hold there, aren't we?
No, well,
Oh,
we're
maybe
actually
not.
starting up, our meeting is next week,
Oh,
August
okay.
22nd at 7 PM. So this is the next phase where we will be discussing the master plan and moving forward on that.
Okay, excellent. With that said, that's all the agenda items. Is there anything else that would like to come before this table tonight? Ralph? You're up. You have anything to say tonight? John?
It's with a heavy heart. I have to make plans for retirement. And, I think most of you know what I've got. My problem is part of it's speaking. That's why I've been so quiet. I hope everybody can hear me. My wife has put up with a lot, and got to thank her for that.
Well, that's a saw that cuts both ways, Ralph.
But I had some notes made, and I know I'd forget.
It's in there.
But, it's been an honor to serve the people of Orange for the past 23 years as a member of the Board of Selectmen. After careful consideration because of health, I made the decision to retire from the board immediately. I want to thank Jim and all of you, past and present, for all the support you have given me over the years. I will miss working with all of you, and I hope to see you around the town. Thank you very much. I see a lot of friendly faces, and I appreciate all the work that they've done for me. One of the people who's really backed me up most of the ways with money issues is John Cifarelli sitting in the back there. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Rob.
And Tom Hurley, too. So, my daughter's there, Val's there. Bob Britton, I go in his office every once in a while to fix the canal in front of our house. We have a gutter between the lawn and the pavement, so he promised me maybe in next year's funding.
Keep an eye on that.
I'm looking at Mr. Britton.
But I'd like to thank just everybody sitting here and all those at home. It's really been a wonderful time, and I want to go out when I want to go out, not when I have to go out. So, thank you all, and John, my timekeeper here.
You're doing fine, Ralph.
And Mitch, PJ, Judy, Ann, and the big guy.
Thanks, Rob.
So, I want to go out on a good feeling, and like I say, all of you people have been very good to me, helped me out when I needed it, and I hope to be back someday, maybe from upstairs. But thank you all, and maybe I'll show up at a couple of meetings.
Keep us in
Yeah.
line.
That would be
definitely keep us
good.
in line.
We also had a suggestion, Ralph,
Uh-oh.
from some people that were very proud, happy, and concerned, all of the above. And in your earlier years, you served many years as on the Park and Rec Commission and as the chair of that, and you had great interest in the tennis courts and had them redone down there, and oversaw that project when they were just redone again recently and all, and it was one of those projects that went through your committee and all. And knowing that you were an avid tennis player up until about 3 weeks ago, the thought has been to, and the town doesn't take this lightly when they name things, but they thought about making those the Ralph Oakenquist tennis courts down there. So I don't know if that would be a positive or a negative for you. What do you think of having the Ralph Oakenquist tennis courts?
Fine by me.
Okay. Well, that was a suggestion that we had, that we would rename the tennis courts in your honor. So you stay down, we're up. Congratulations.
Thank you, Jim. It's been a pleasure working with Jim most of the time.
That's for all of us, right?
Oh, how I knew that was gonna come out. Well, I thank you for that, and the town of Orange thanks you. We were talking about this in the office the other day. Between his Board of Selectmen career, Park and Recreation career, Little League coaching of his sons, among many things and all, sons, he has about 50, we can call it 50 years for a round number of service to the town of Orange. So I think that is something that is few and far between and commendable. And Ralph, for all you did for the town, we thank you. We thank you for that. So,
It's been a pleasure.
go ahead. With that said, is there a motion to adjourn? Ralph?
It's on you.
Ralph? Do you want to adjourn the meeting?
I'll adjourn.
Second.
Okay. The meeting is adjourned. I ask you to please stay for a little refreshments after this. So you see, Marty, you picked the right night. Thank you all. Chris?
Thank you.